What was the problem getting the offense going tonight? What were they doing?
Well, let me start by complimenting my opponent first. So Nashville has been an interesting inclusion to our league. Gary's done a great job, and the way they play and the amount of draws that they had last year and the year before and their success has always been based around, being really solid defensively. They took some wind out of our sails. The tempo wasn't very fast tonight, and that's how they play. And so credit to him. That was, his game plan, and it worked. Second of all, what I would say is that for us, it's always more challenging and difficult to create things than it is to destroy things, okay? And so when we kind of had to shuffle the deck a little bit during preseason, we put a lot of energy into different things, but, Jordan was there, but JP wasn't, and Nico's coming back, and, Albert's coming in, and we've got some moving parts. I don't think we're quite in sync. So how we figure that out will be a work in progress. The specifics to that for tonight, in my opinion, were I didn't think we created enough tempo. Just the game was slow. When they got a goal kick, they took their time. A throw-in, they took their time. I mean, we can actually, on our goal kicks, put the ball fast and play. Or on a throw-in, don't wait for the left back just to throw the ball in, because that's what you're supposed to do. The closest guy, grab the ball, throw the ball in fast, and create some tempo on our own. And we just never were able to, well, until they scored the goal. Then you saw the team kind of rise up, and then we played a little faster, but don't wait till your opponent scores before you try and create tempo. We set some goals today, some smaller goals than what we already had in playing at home, playing here, and we're going to try and, play with more tempo whenever we're at home. So that's a concrete thing that we're going to try and work on. And then some of the small nuances of, when we change the point of attack, knew who gets the ball from right to left. Okay, what's his next move? Okay, he needs help. Conversely, on the opposite side, if the ball goes into Christian in the pocket, what is Alex doing? What is our center forwards doing? Some of those things, we'll work on that. Those are the little nuances that are a little harder to get. But in general, we needed to play faster tonight.
Brian, how would you articulate your? Are you frustrated with your home form? Do you look back to last year? I know you didn't do as well at home as you wanted to do. Is this a particularly frustrating aspect?
What was our final tally on the home versus road? Or are you talking about just the last 6 games?
Well, you did finish with the fewest home points that you've had.
Okay, but we were really good on the road.
You were.
So that's a positive. I'm not so sure, Jeremiah, that I would be concerned about our home form. I think if you probably did a deeper dive of our statistical analysis over 5 years or since 2009, our home form's probably pretty good. But again, I think there's been times where we struggled when teams kind of, take the air out of the balloon. I think you're spot on there. I think there's some times that happens to us, and how do we correct that? That again is just back to the whole tempo thing and how we play a little faster at home.
Go to Chris Francis in the back row there.
Hey, Brian, you talked about not being in sync and the chemistry. How do you develop that with so many players coming in and out of the lineup in the next 2-3 weeks? It's difficult to do.
Well, we were just back there as a coaching staff already working on the training plan. We've given the players 2 days off, but us coaches, we're going to get right back at it. We'll watch the film tomorrow, and we'll devise some training plans. There is some squad rotation just because of the sheer volume of, we've got RSL, then we've got Champions League game, then we've got the Galaxy, then another Champions League, and then Austin. We've got a pretty tight schedule this first month of the season, so it's not going to be easy. What we tried to do is what we're talking about in there actually is just kind of simplifying things. Okay, what are the simple things that we can drill into our guys that will be effective, whether it's a starting group or a mixed group or some reserves that are sprinkled in, young guys that are going in. What are the key attacking points? And then what are the 3 defending things that we want to work on specific to 4-2-3-1? Because I don't think that, the next couple of games will change from that. If things don't start to turn around for us, then we might tinker a little bit. But let's simplify it for the players.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. Está por los antecedentes, el Sanders ha demostrado ser un equipo de contrastes. ¿Cómo explicar la diferencia de un partido a otro, apenas hace unos días? Si bien es cierto, se trata de un campeonato y un equipo distinto, ¿cómo explicar un 5-0 hace 2 días con una derrota el día de hoy?
Due to previous experiences, I come up with the idea that Sounders is a team of contrasts. How to explain the differences in between these 2 games where you have a game on Thursday where you win 5-0, and then 3 days after you have a game like this where you are not able to score a goal?
Well, the 2 games and the 2 competitions are a little different. What I would say is that Motagua was very different to Nashville. The teams are opposite. Motagua wanted to press higher up the field. They were playing direct. They had more, energy and pushed higher up the field, where our opponent tonight was very solid in their defending. So I think, number 1, it's just the teams are different. And then number 2, we got an early goal from Nico on a corner kick, and early goals in games open up things sometimes. And had we scored 1 goal in the first half, maybe Nashville has to come out, then maybe we have more chances to score more goals in the second half.
Los 2 partidos son 2 partidos diferentes y son competencias muy diferentes, y eso hace que la situación completa sea muy distinta. Primero, el equipo de Motagua es un equipo agresivo, que salía su alineación era mucho más adelantada que la de Nashville, y eso hacía que la forma de juego sea un poco distinta y se acomodara un poco más a lo nuestro. Mientras que Nashville es un equipo mucho más fuerte defensivamente y hace pues que la dinámica del partido sea distinta. La segunda razón también es que en el partido anterior pudimos anotar rápidamente con el gol de Nico, y eso abre los partidos y también es algo que favorece nuestro juego. Y quién sabe si nosotros en este partido contra Nashville hubiéramos anotado un gol en la primera mitad, habría también dado una oportunidad de que el encuentro se establezca de una forma distinta en el segundo tiempo.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay, we'll go to the front row down here, Giselle. We'll start with Maz Vida and then go over to Nico. Mike's coming for you, Maz.
Hey, Brian, in terms of up-tempoing the game, do you ever give any thought, because Christian Rodin was pushed up, maybe you pressing with Jordan Morris on the side to kind of you'll press.
You're talking about defending and creating more chances?
Exactly, using your defense to create kind of a transitional type thing.
Yeah, we talked about that. I mean, again, active defending is when we have possession up here and the center backs and either a holding midfielder or the opposite outside back come in. That's active defending. The other principle that we have all the time is immediate chase. You can counter pressure. There's 100 different ways to call it. But yes, whenever we lose possession of the ball, we want to try and recover it as quickly as possible. Okay, so that's another one. The other thing that we worked on, actually, because you mentioned Christian. Christian's actually very smart. He understands, when the ball is transferring from the right to the left on your opponent's side of the field, he sometimes does a good job of reading the play and putting pressure on a center back. You know, I think that's things that we want to try and accomplish. But we certainly didn't get many transition moments when the ball turned over. We didn't have that tonight.
Nico?
Brian, one of the highlights continues to be Obed Vargas, and you know how composed and of the role he just looks apart. Christian said that he reminds him a lot of himself, and said that he sees him as a starter at some point in this team. Just wanted to know your take on that.
Yeah. I would agree with Christian's assessment that Obed reminds me a lot like Christian when he was young. I would agree with that. The kid has a good feel for the game. He's not afraid. I mean, starting him in a CONCACAF Champions League game down in Honduras, that was a big challenge for him, and he rose to that. I think he had good moments tonight. There were times when he wasn't in the game perhaps as much as we would have liked, but, you cannot argue about the kid's heart, his desire, his character. The other night he was waving the crowd up. Tonight, some of his tackles, some of the stuff he did, I thought he was great. But again, there's room to grow. And, certainly if he continues to develop, then, there certainly is a conversation to be had as to whether he starts or not. But I think we're a little premature on that.
Thinking about in the future, yes.
Future? I hope we can keep him around long enough for him to have a future here. How about that?
Go in the back row there to Mickey.
Hey, Coach, MLS sides in Champions League went 0-4-1, and New England had they forfeited, so throw that one out. But with a negative 7-goal differential, given that kind of struggle, how do you kind of manage expectations, and what do you talk to the team about just navigating the next month or so?
Mickey, that is such a good question. Thank you for asking that question, because I told those guys in the locker room this morning, I don't care. I don't care what game it is, what competition, Open Cup, Champions League, regular season,
We'll dump it.
Every game, Mickey, every single game matters. I don't care who I put on the field. I don't care who's a starter. I don't care who's not starting. Every game for this franchise means something. And I don't buy into the fact of teams that put everything into Champions League can't make the playoffs. I don't buy into the fact that teams that go to MLS Cups don't make the playoffs in the following year. I don't buy into any of that. The culture, the winning culture of this club is the next game is the most important. RSL is the next important. That's the most important game. And then we'll take Lyon, and then we'll take the Galaxy, and we'll go Lyon again. We will take each game as an individual opportunity for this club, for young players, for old players, to do what we want to do, which is win games and put ourselves in good positions to win trophies, titles, all of that. That's the mantra of the club.
Okay, nothing on Zoom, so we'll stay in here. We'll go to who go next.
Buenas noches, Coach. Hugo López del 7 Días. Tengo una pregunta específica. Para ganar se necesitan goles. Raúl es sinónimo de goles. ¿Para cuándo va a estar listo?
So the question is, to win, you need goals, and to score goals, and Raúl provides goals. When is he going to be ready?
That is a good question. So we had an MRI taken of Raúl, and he has a slight hamstring issue. So he will be out for RSL. We will try and get him back for Lyon, but that will be up in the air.
Es una muy buena pregunta. Le acabamos de hacer una resonancia magnética a Raúl y lo que tiene es un problema en el muslo posterior, en el hamstring. Y no va a estar disponible para el partido con RSL. Vamos a tratar de tenerlo de vuelta para el partido contra León, pero todavía está un poco en el aire, no tenemos exactitud con respecto a eso.
Okay, we do have one on Zoom, so Matt will take it upstairs to you.
Jada, do you have a question?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I wanted to ask Brian.
Did anybody catch that?
Jada, if you can hear me, the best bet would probably be to message your question to Matt, and Matt may be able to ask it, but we are getting a lot of feedback from the press box, so we're going to move on. But please feel free to message your question to Matt, and we'll get to it if we can. Other questions here in the room? Sure.
Mi pregunta tiene relación a la pregunta anterior. Si bien es cierto, el fútbol es un juego colectivo, desde su punto de vista, ¿cuánto influyó la ausencia de Ruiz Díaz en el resultado de hoy?
My question is in the same lines as the previous question. Even though I understand that soccer is a team play, how much do you feel that influenced the fact that Raúl was not available in this game?
Look, Raúl is an important player for us, very important player for us. But what I'd also say to you is that last year we didn't have Jordan Morris, we didn't have Nico Ladero for many parts of the year, and the team was still okay. So your question is a good one, but it is a team sport. Will Bruin is coming back. He will be available for RSL, and that will help us. And Freddie Montero can still score goals, and we can still create more dangerous attacks. I thought Leo came on and did a good job today. So we will find ways to compensate for Raúl, pero Raúl es un grande jugador.
Que la respuesta es, Raúl definitivamente es un jugador muy importante para nosotros. Sin embargo, el año pasado también tuvimos ciertas ocasiones en las cuales varios jugadores no estaban disponibles, como Nico por una buena parte del tiempo, Jordan por prácticamente toda la temporada, e igual el equipo logró salir adelante. Entonces lo más importante es poder tener piezas de recambio. También es importante saber que Will Bruin va a estar de vuelta este año también tenemos de vuelta a Jordan Morris, y hay oportunidades para también anotar goles de esa manera. Sin embargo, Raúl Ruiz Díaz es un jugador muy importante para nosotros también.
¿Tus propuestas solamente en español?
I can understand little pieces.
It's pretty good. It's good.
Okay.
Okay, others, anything else to close out with? Alyssa, we'll go to you, and you can have the last one. And I believe we did get that question answered on Zoom from Jada. It was an injury update, so we're good there. Alyssa, go ahead.
Oh, grand finale. I'm kidding. Question for you about what Steph Fry said. He said sometimes it's good to learn things the hard way this early on. Seeing this frustration, the struggle, you guys unable to break through offensively. What do you take from a game like this that you can take into another game where you're, scoreless at half or deeper than that?
Yeah. Steph, goalkeepers in general, defenders in general, kind of usually hate to lose. That's kind of their mentality. I'm sure we will take a look at the goal and see what we could have done better, some of the details, the initial clearance, how's our defending, all of that sort of stuff. I'm sure that's probably weighing on his mind. The way I framed it for this team was, yes, it is early. Yes, we are disappointed. You need to feel that, whatever Steph said, I'll watch what he said. But yeah, you have to feel that you hate to lose, okay? But there's no reason for us to panic. We have a tremendous team. We are a proud franchise. There's been a lot of good home openers. There's been some bad ones. We will get through this. It's not the end of the world. There's lots of other people that are having other issues than losing a home opener. I was complimenting my team afterwards about their, togetherness, showing, the T-shirts that they wore in warm-ups. So there's lots of bigger things, but you know, that's just, again, Steph being a real competitor. He's always kind of, you know, looking for that different edge or that different way of looking at things to get better. And that's why he's one of the captains of our team and such an important part of our culture of our squad.